Okay, so hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of The Fall Global. This is where we connect with global first entrepreneurs and remote work experts from all around the world to share their experiences and knowledge. Our guest today is Michael Khait, CTO at TrustPoint. Michael, thanks for joining us today.
Good to be here, Al.
Absolutely. So, Michael, you've spent the last 20 years helping companies reach their full potential in technology, right? Kind of. So, could you share with us your journey and how it led you to your current position as CTO at TrustPoint?
Yeah, sure. So I started my career in late '90s at the top of first dot-com boom, and I've been always working with web applications. So started there, work as a developer for the first 10 years of my career, build a number of my own personal projects. Um, and for the last 15, I've been more in a manager, engineering management, and then leadership roles. Um, and majority out of those 15 years, I've been really building. We called it remote, but I prefer to call them distributed teams. So my focus has been on the web application SaaS tools and really people and building teams around building those products.
Got it. And just a couple of questions in terms of your current company. So TrustPoint's platform combines this AI, ML, FinTech, and SaaS with SOC to bank security stuff. So can you elaborate on how these technologies work together to provide this risk-free construction portfolio to your clients?
Yeah, so the bunch of buzzwords there, right? So let me unwrap this a little bit. We help our customers, who are private lenders or banks, run construction finance in a modern, compliant, secure, and transparent way. So what it means is this: there's a multi-trillion-dollar market right now that as in a lot of cases operates with Excels and emails. The communication between uh, borrowers for construction and the lenders happens in a very, very antique manual way, if you will, Web 1.0 way. So because of that, all the data that being passed around those entities, all the decisions that being passed, being made around those entities are really not recorded anywhere. So the asset class of construction finance has been, flaky, and it's been, there were historically a lot of risk investing in construction. So we're taking this to the next level. We're building operational tools as well as deep analytics and predictable analytics, and we allowing our customers to really see inside of the construction process, and therefore reduce the risk. Right, we see the inside of, there's a 15-month time frame to build this. The risks are different throughout the project, so we're trying to assess the risk across the portfolio, across the project, for our customers, and really see inside and make better investment decisions. All of the tools, that said, right? All of the tools help with that, right? So security is critical because we're working with the large numbers. We're responsible for a lot of uh, private information for our customers. AI, ML, obviously the latest generative AI buzz is, we're playing with that. But more on a statistical, right? Can we build a model to predict, bad loan, bad project, things like that?
Got it. And like you mentioned, TrustPoint is a global diverse team, distributed team, right? So from the United States to Ukraine. So can you share your experience and maybe any challenges you faced when hiring in these different countries? And maybe let's start with your initial experience. How did you start hiring globally?
Yeah. So about 15 years ago, I realized, and I joined as a first leader, technical leader to it wasn't the start. It was a profitable business, but and I start trying to figure out how to be creative and how to get the talent remotely, right? And not necessary. So I started looking at the outsource firms first, right? Not knowing, not understanding how it works. So I had experience with those, just hiring firms, building a fixed price project. Then like, nah, there's something wrong with that. It get a bit better. Then in my next opportunity, I got a chance to actually get the outstaff team, what we now call outstaff, which means is I have a team. It's my team. I sit here, they sit there, day-to-day interactions, direct connections.
Yeah.
It was early it was at the peak of Skype. Skype really enabled this back at the day for us. So, and then we take it to the next level. There's like, look, if I can do this remotely without staff team, why don't I try to get my own team like that? Meaning, I will hire those people. I will take care of them. They're gonna be, we can in US we can't use word employees, but they're a full team member. They equal to the employee level, and what happened with that? So I started doing that, and that turned out even better than outstaffing. So I've been doing this for the last, and then, I had some interaction with different countries as well. But essentially, this is the model that I prefer right now. Question is, how do we scale it in the future? But we can talk about it a little bit more.
Got it. Yeah, let's talk about it. Can you share some of the tactics TrustPoint uses when hiring globally or remotely? Do you rely on recruiters or agencies, or just you use some local job boards? So what pain points are you facing at this point with this tactics? Right? Can you go a bit deeper?
Yeah. So there, it's very simple. Has been very simple for me right now. First, I have a couple of recruiters, usually on the sides, who work with me, maybe one in the country.
Kind
And
of freelancers or your recruiters?
freelancers.
Freelancer. Okay.
Freelancer. I have not experienced, like, I wanted to get to the level, and I think this is the next level where I'm gonna get to as we scale to actually have my own recruiter. But I've been pretty lucky working with a number of firms on a freelance basis, and they were doing good job getting talent for me, even in the hardest times of getting talent, which was about 18 months ago. 24, 18 to 24 months ago, it was hard, so they helped me a lot. And the other one is, to be honest, the greatest, one of the greatest. I don't know if we call it job board, but Genie. That's I believe Ukrainian. A job posting board has been very good with us, although with a mixed success too. So, but it's a good source. So yeah, those two mostly.
Got it. And what was your checklist for choosing the country to hire from? Or you just found a couple great talents in specific country and that's how all this started?
So um, there are a couple of things here. First of all, the cultures. I work with a number of cultures around the world. I work with Southeast Asia, I work with Central America, and I work to Eastern Europe, Western Europe, and obviously US, right? Every culture have a different ways of operating, and they have a different speed almost, right? They have a different pace, different speed, different um, things they focus on. And depending of what kind of, it's almost sometimes, now that I would think about it, it's almost depending what kind of product, what kind of thing you want to do, you can select the country to operate in. And time zones are a topic on its own, and we can also talk about. So so when I select, I'd like to go to the cultures and countries that I'm closer with, that I have a unfair advantage, meaning understanding the culture, understanding how the people operate, understanding how people go about day to day. And I try to invest and connect with those people because I believe I can give them more, um, because of understanding the cultural similarities. Um, when I so that's I select based on a product, and I select on a cultural, and when the cultures cross among each other, that's a whole different topic, and we can get into that.
Hmm. Okay. And yeah, speaking about the culture, so what was the most interesting, I guess, case when you really saw this really huge differences in terms of culture?
So the case was for me, is that you cannot un, half of the job is really, if when I work with Southeast Asia countries, right, the half of the job was really to understand how people are, not really technology part of it. But you can't ever do this because you're not from there, right? You're just not there. And so at some point you realize that, right, and you let go. You don't try to control, not the word is not a control, but don't try to really get in and like frustrate yourself because you don't understand something, and you just okay, you know what, this is very different, we're going to operate on a different level, and you adopt to it, right? It's working with every culture is very different, and you as a leader need to adopt and learn how to work with that.
And speaking about that, speaking about managing a globally distributed team, right? What are some maybe of the key principles you have followed in building and in managing global first company in terms of maybe building
Yeah,
efficient communication, collaboration, management of this team? Can you go a bit deeper?
sure. Look, the list of things, I would say, not just for global company, but the list something is like this: people first, right? So you, as I said, right, they're all of your people, they're all of your team members, they're all rowing in the same direction, and you need to communicate that as you build a company. Culture in the company is hasn't been more important, especially in a global company, right? Because you're losing just so much in communication. So the most of the energy that that the critical is around the people. The next piece is autonomy, and autonomy kind of also focuses on people, but implies that, look, we trust you, you here to do the work, but yet you're free to do what is right for the business, for the company, right? So we don't, well, there's Jira, there are tasks, yes, there are deadlines, but a separate topic. But if you have this autonomy, if you kind of give an autonomy, and you from, for example, from my perspective, go, there's a problem, go figure out how do we fix this problem, and do it, um you know take your time, right? And when you have engineer comes back with a very creative way of solving a particular problem, because it wasn't a task, it was like a conversation. So autonomy is important as a fundamental principle in our organization. Diversity is important, right? Diversity have multiple angles on it, but at least you need to think about diversity. It's, you can come from, one direction. We're not going to slice and dice the types of diversity, but general thinking about diversity in the company is something that we do a lot. And this one is kind of strange, but I call it, work with people who love what they do. They don't come to you for a job. They come to you because they have something to contribute and they love doing it. So, and I have thoughts of, of advice on this topic, maybe later on in the show.
Okay, cool. And before we go there, you mentioned that you cannot call like your teammates that are based outside of the SS employees, right? So with that, my another question: how does TrustPoint handle payroll across different countries while staying compliant with each country's regulations?
Yeah, good question. Thank you. So we used to do this in a we started doing this, and when I came to the company, was with the CFO, with the consulting CFO, we're trying to model this. We're trying to figure out, we are serious fintech company. We're working with a lot of big and important entities. How do we structure this? And we started very manually. We started by doing contracts through DocuSign and payments through, I think, wires or international ways and tracking it. And then Deel came around, right? And I don't remember whether I reached out. I reached out, I think, to them. We started a conversation, and the rest is history. It's just has been such a great partner to us.
Mm-hmm.
We are exploring the rolling out new features because I need to solve global HR, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not just payroll and legal stuff, but how do we do HR? So Deel is working on rolling out some
Yeah.
HR features, and we're looking to expand it. And who knows? It's really been a blast, and so helping us
Mm-hmm.
hire globally, let people select how they want to be in the company, but how what do we call those people are all the team members, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're have all different entities, the one they prefer, the one they choose in the country they want, and Deel helping us solve that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We also work with Deel. We're formal partner of Deel, and we're currently working on integration of our embedded talent solution with Deel. So yeah, they're
Awesome.
transforming. Yeah, and they're doing a pretty great job. But there are other employer of record companies like Oyster, like Velocity Global. They're doing their work also on a very high level. Okay, cool. So, but still, you didn't answer. So you hired those guys as contractors, or you use employer of record services and you hired this direct
We have a
employment
combination of both.
combination of both? I guess it depends on specific country, right?
It depends of a country, it depends of a preference, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
people have
Mm-hmm.
different preference. It depends, what their goals are, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it gives us that flexibility, which is amazing.
Okay, and another question in terms of salaries, it might be sensitive. So if you're not ready to answer this, that's okay. But still, you have like a teams in different places. So sometimes
Yeah.
there might be similar level of engineers, for example, in Ukraine or in the United States or in somewhere in Asia. So in terms of their compensation, right? Are they equal or it depends on specific country?
So it's never equal because quality, the cost of living is different anywhere in the world, right? The engineers from Silicon Valley, there's a post on LinkedIn today that OpenAI average comp is 900,000, right? So yeah, okay, not I can't, I okay, I'm speechless, right, on that topic. That said, so so what is important to us, and I'm not going to go into numbers, right? For example, but what is important to us is continue to thrive as a company for transparency. So we always think, and John and I, as my partner and CEO, we always think about what if the data that we have would always leak? What will happen to the company, right? They're a fully transparent company, but we always ask ourselves, what will happen? How will it impact us? What will people say? So that what I mean by what I'm getting with that is that we try to equalize all the compensation across the levels that we have and try to give increases not just by the comp, but really, we take it seriously at the global level, right? You have a grades that you go, across and vertically, and we try to align our compensation metrics around it, not just necessary, how what people want or how we decide. And when we have an engineer coming to us with saying, this is how much I want, we interview for the role that we believe goes to that grade, and ask ourselves, does that person fit into that grade, right? We don't want to lowball them. And when we do give an offer, finally we try to ensure that that offer is aligned with our own matrices of roles and levels.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, and speaking about talent, what advice would you give to those tech talent who are based outside of the US but who are still looking to join a US company like TrustPoint? What should they do? How can
Yeah.
they make themselves more attractive to global companies?
So this is a good one. I love doing that. The first one I want to start with is do the work, right? What I mean by that is, you know, if you're just starting out, get your GitHub going, right? Make sure you are on GitHub. Make sure you're on a Stack Overflow. You out there doing something, right? The fact that you have 18 months, you have over 2 years or over 3 years on your resume doesn't mean anything, right? Find yourself, find uh, power, find strength in yourself in doing this work and pushing, because you're going to be looked at. There are a lot of people right now. You're going to you want to stand out. So do that work. Do open source project, build your own projects, and just get out there. The second thing is learn. Keep learning, always learning. Think about how AI makes you 10x developer, and keep absorbing the information. Then, as you absorb the information, try to build a network. Right? It's easy for me to say build a network, but it's something that nobody told me when I was young. Keep connections. Don't burn bridges, and continue expand your network. The other one is interesting because everybody goes through it, but there's good in it, which is fail. Don't be afraid of failing. I'm not saying fail fast, because I kind of don't believe in this failing fast as if like, okay, I'm just gonna do it. I know I'm gonna fail. But don't be afraid of fail. Keep doing it. Build your own projects, launch your own companies. Hassle, right? Don't be afraid of failing. And the last one, last one is very tactical, but really annoying because I look at a lot of them. Get your resume in order. This one is just okay. Maybe we'll get this out there and get the word out there. Look, we should stop innovating on resume formats. If you want a resume, Take LinkedIn. By the way, LinkedIn is a must. I don't talk to you if there's no LinkedIn. Take LinkedIn, copy on the in the Word or whatever the resume writing tool, and expand on it. And lastly, on the same resume, don't tell me technology is what you did, which is cool. I get it. Technology is cool. Don't tell me things that you did. Tell me problems you were solving and the value they were bringing to the company. Yeah, that's tell, tell share what you shipped. That's if we're talking about very tactical things. So here are a few.
Yeah, that's a very nice set of advice. Thank you for that. And you mentioned that those talents should use AI, right? And I don't know how about you, but we are, as a talent acquisition company, we have been facing this issue for maybe the last 4 or 5 months, right? So they most of those talent, I mean not most, but some of those talent, they use AI, and but they kind of, they're trying to cheat, using that AI. And I
Yeah,
talked to a lot of CTOs, and they're kind of complaining that it is becoming a huge issue, because it's becoming really hard to understand whether those guys use AI or not, even during those underlying coding. So, have you
yeah,
faced this issue on your end, and how do you fight with this problem?
yeah. So I haven't. I I don't think I faced the issue, but more importantly, I don't really care. Um, I've
Okay,
been
that's interesting.
running the same. So we have Python and we have TypeScript, JavaScript, whatever DevOps standard technologies around it. I've created a tests for those on one of the test platforms, and very mixed test, and that I think I did this about 3 years ago, and that test, the same test that hasn't changed, remains a baseline for us, right? And now I can go back and look at performance over time, see whether it was in a predicted way, you know, showing the performance of a person. They are, sometimes they're not. But if those tests going forward will be done with GPT, that means that technically the person can continue to deliver what they need to deliver, right? They might not know how they don't know all the algorithms. How often do we use algorithm on day-to-day basis, right? When we building uh, a company that needs to find product market fit, right? So we're not talking about the large enterprise, right? But the startups, unless startup is a very specific thing. So, but often you just need to move fast. And if those people are creative and they find a way to move fast and learn things, um, then why should I worry about it? Like, I believe that this AI will make the people who realize and learn how to harvest the power of it. It will make them 10x engineers, and the 10x engineers who will find a way to harvest the power of it and build tools on it. Well, I don't know what kind of engineers X will be, right? So I'm excited about it. I'm not afraid of it at all. It's not cheating, and from my point of view, I need to learn what does it give us as entrepreneurs.
Okay, yeah, that's interesting point of view. Um, okay, so I guess my last question for you. So, what would be your top three pieces of advice for entrepreneurs who are looking to build this successful global first tech company, who have never done this before? I mean, hiring globally, or in terms of global business distribution, business expansion. Can you talk more about it?
Um, Find the right connections. right? I mean, we know what we need to do, right? We know the components, right? You need to find your HR partner, you hiring recruiter partner. You need to know how to communicate, how to build a synchronous communication culture, the whole different podcast on its own, right? Um, and the last one, which is almost the most important one, is communication, right? Communication. How do you broadcast yourself? If you're a leader, if you're starting up, if you like, you want to, if you want to make sure everybody's rowing in the same direction, how do you communicate that effectively? And how do you communicate that people actually hearing you, not just you communicating out? Um, and do the work.
Yeah. Okay. I guess we're good. Thanks a lot, Michael, for sharing your insights and on this challenges and obstacles of global hiring, building distributed teams. Thanks a lot for that. We wish you and TrustPoint all the best in your journey. Appreciate your time.
Thank you very much, Vit. It was my pleasure. Good to be here.
Thank you.